Hi everybody and welcome to the Ben Taylor podcast, the home of marine industry insights. This episode is brought to you by Superyacht Services Guide, a trusted directory on board many large yachts all around the world, full of services that can be trusted by crew and captains. Today we're talking about insurance and we've got Hugo from Fort Insurance to talk all about it. So welcome to the podcast, Hugo.
Thank you for having me.
I see it. There we go. So we met a while ago. We met, I think, during this event at the Young Professionals in Yachting, and that kind of thing.
That's right. We actually met a little bit before when I was living in London, and I was treasurer of YPY London.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then we saw each other again. You're absolutely right. Again in Monaco, probably the YPY breakfast here in Monaco. But yes, that's when we met, and that's a little while back. So a lot of change since.
Yeah. And so what was your role in YPY? Why is it so important to you?
Well, so when I heard about YPY, I thought that would be a great opportunity for when I was living in the UK for my younger staff member to actually get to know people in the industry, get to know people that start in the industry and that start building their network, their own network.
Yeah.
Because it's all nice and well to introduce youngcomers in the industry to senior members in the industry, and it could work. It could be a very great fit.
Yeah.
But one thing that I was taught a long time ago when I first started in the insurance industry is that you grow with your network.
Yeah.
And that's something that stuck with me. And I think YPY is fantastic for that because I can see it now over 15 years in that industry, and in the last probably being involved in YPY one way or another, YPY so one way or another in the last 10 years. I see that the network has expanded.
Yeah.
I can see,
and it serves you well, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The network's expanded, and then it serves you well, and then new people are coming in, and I often see, if you drop YPY for a few months and etc. or a year or so because you've got other commitments, you come back and you see myriad of new faces.
Yeah,
and
but you also see what people have done and how they've grown over that time.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. So that's why it's so exciting. YPY is so exciting, especially for new joiner in the yachting industry. It's just a fantastic organization.
I always think whenever I meet somebody else young in the industry, I always think I'll probably work alongside you for like 30 years, 50 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something, whether it's kind of a loose little help at a boat show or a client that they're also working with, just something good will come of it.
A friendly
so it's that
face
really
to
long-term vision.
show.
Yeah, or just have a laugh.
That can be quite, all those people walking around, that can be quite, impressive for someone that just joined and just like, but I actually don't know anybody. And just seeing on the dock someone that you've met at YPY is actually just a good feeling when you start in the industry.
Yeah, it's nice. And so you're the MD of Fort Insurance.
That's right.
What are Fort Insurance all about? What's the niche that you guys serve?
So Fort Insurance is an independent insurance broker. The company is solely owned by me, so that maintain our independence. We have no shareholders that are telling us what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
So that allows us to make one quick decision, two, being truly independent for the client. Therefore, we will always seek whatever insurance market is available to them and meet their needs. We will present it to them. We will do a full analysis of the solution, the insurance solution we've collected for them, or insurance quotation, as we call them, and then we will present them our recommendation. Our regulator in France asks us to do that work and provide a recommendation to the client. So we have to explain to them, has to be motivated, we have to explain to them why we're recommending one insurer and not the other.
Yeah.
So it's really an in-depth work that we do for the client. It's almost an owner's representative work for insurance.
Okay. And so it's got that nice independence where you don't have to serve other shareholders or potentially have conflict of interest. You can exclusively think, okay, what does the client want?
Yeah.
How can we best serve that? And that's it.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's absolutely right.
And so I've been telling some people about this podcast, and they were like, okay, oh God, you're going to talk about insurance for kind of 20 minutes. That's going to be quite boring. Actually, I'm a little nerdy about insurance. I like the idea of kind of risk and how it all happens. Yeah. Can you walk us through? We have this phrase of being involved as an insurer early in the deal.
Yes.
Why is that important? What happens there? Can you give us some idea of how that all works?
That's actually a very important concept, and one that we are defending quite strongly at Fort Insurance, because we have many. We are in touch with many players in the industry. So whether they be managers, whether they be surveyors, whether they be sales brokers, whether they be owners rep or banks, or any parties to a deal, to a sale, to a yacht sale.
Yeah.
And often, either the insurance is an afterthought, or insurance is something that comes in, but we know, we know someone, and that'll be fine. We'll take, either owners say they'll take care of it, or manager or sales broker.
Yeah.
Now, not all deals are similar. I think a lot of sales broker watching that your program are going to agree with this. Not all deals are similar, and especially when it comes to yacht and super yacht deal, which is where what we focus on, they're all very different. And we have seen so many times deals where insurance was left aside for a long time, and then we're being called and we're being told, the boat's closing next week. Yeah. We haven't got insurance sorted. Can you help? Yeah. Now, the good scenarios, it's a boat that is easy to find insurance for, and then we'll be able to find something quick and etc. And then sometimes, they haven't found insurance because, in fact, either the risk has been misrepresented, or hasn't been presented properly, or too quickly, or not explained to insurers, or simply it is a boat that is hard to place. Yeah. I'll tell you a typical example. A super yacht that is with a US flag, with a US company, and that's going to stay full time in the Med, you will have a lot less insurance solutions, i.e. insurers that are going to want your risk, than if the boat was, for example, flagged in the Cayman and owned by a Cayman entity, purely because a lot of insurers in Europe are really risk averse to the US risk. So even if the boat is moored in Europe, they will look at it as a US risk because it's got a US owning company. And so
fundamentally, if they involve the insurance early in the deal, it might be a different flagged vessel, or
it might be, because often they choose that because it's the way they've always done it. They've always owned boats on a US flag, so they want to continue doing so. But then if we are involved early and they ask this question, we'll say, we will find you a solution. However, this is the difference between having one or two solutions, so maybe default solution, and having 5 or 6 different solutions, which may mean pricing-wise, that might be more competitive, that might mean cover-wise, you might have better cover, and that's where it's very important, and that's just only on the sale. If we're talking about a new build, there is a lot of aspects that are just being forgotten. When you have a project manager that is your future captain attending the shipyard, you'll do your build order, and then the build's gonna start, and eventually you have a project manager or your build captain following the build, and the shipyard's gonna say, hold on, is that person insured? And then suddenly you're just scraping find a solution, and that delays a certain process, and then you have to figure out a lot of things afterwards, which it can be done. But it's suddenly quite stressful because everything needs to be rushed. So by involving your own insurance broker, involving an insurance broker early in the deal, you're basically making insurance a stress-free process.
Yeah, and who tends to deal with the insurance, kind of the responsibility of making sure it's insured? Is that down to a broker? Is it the new owner? Where does the responsibility lie?
It's very much it depends of how
it
the
varies.
New owner.
Of course it does.
It always varies, but I will give you a myriad of examples.
Yeah, please
You could have an owner representative that will take care of the insurance.
Okay. Right, that makes sense.
If the owner is set up in this way, the owner's representative might end up being the manager. The yacht manager might have power of attorney to deal with the insurance. It's often the case, actually. You might have a captain that is heavily involved with the owner and that is trusted to deal with the insurance. That often happens as well. And you might be surprised that owners themselves, even on super yacht, get involved to sometimes quite an extent, or sometimes they want to sign off
Yes,
that
yeah.
expense, because it is a big expense sometimes, and it is an expense that, you know, you're talking about protecting a multi-million-dollar
It's
asset.
a huge asset. Yeah,
It's a huge asset, you know, and owners often want to know what's going on with insurance. They want to know that they're being looked after by professionals and insurers that are
Yeah, and
are
all
appropriate.
too often they'll see the industry news and be like, oh,
Yeah.
that boat was in build, that's just gone up in flames and things. It puts
Would that be
people on edge.
covered?
Yeah, exactly.
We have questions like that, of course.
Yeah. And so, can you explain to me what the difference is between different insurance brokers? So, we've got the big underwriters, and then there's the brokers.
Yeah.
Kind of correct me and help me along here, but as I understand it, an insurance broker will have a particular niche where they specialize in, they're very familiar with it, and they're kind of well practiced in that area.
That's right, yeah.
Is that how the brokers differ? So
Yeah. So
is that how
if you take, you know,
structured?
we explain for everybody what's an insurer, what an insurance broker. They're very different
do it.
things.
Yeah, go for that. Yeah.
The insurer is the one that carries the risk. Is the risk.
Right, it all
we
goes
could call it
wrong,
risk
they're
carrier.
paying up.
They're
That's
paying.
the bit,
Of course.
yeah.
That's exactly right. They are the one paying. The insurance broker represent the client, to the owner or their team, and will look for the best solution for the client. And he will approach several insurers. So we are talking one insurance broker, several insurers.
Yeah.
So an insurance broker that works in the yacht niche and that does a good job will give you several solutions. Will approach several insurance broker and will know who to approach, and also to some extent which insurers to approach and not to approach, because there is certain insurers, if you ask them to insure a yacht in the Caribbean,
they just wouldn't want it in their portfolio. They wouldn't do it whatsoever.
So it's the knowledge of the insurance broker that makes the process more seamless, because they will, your insurance broker will look at, okay, these insurers are insurers that could be for you. We're gonna approach them and find you and negotiate the best deal for you with them without compromising the coverage. So see, I said that earlier, see your insurance broker as your representative, your owner's representative for insurance.
Yeah, and there's so many different situations come up. We've already mentioned the difference if a vessel is flagged differently, if it's doing any charter activity and it's a yacht engaged in trade, if it's privately owned, it's destination where it's operated, is it an explorer yacht? It's all going to be different. So all these niche sectors need the right broker, the right policies, otherwise the activity doesn't match the policies, right?
That's right. I think one mistake we see clients in general make too often is they have an insurance broker for their home, for their business, for their cars, and they tend to say, oh, okay, well, you'll also do the yacht.
Do the boat as well.
Do the boat. So if it's actually a good word to use there. If it's a boat, maybe they'll do that very well actually. You know, the boat at the back of the house in Florida, you know, you give that to a big insurer that does all of it, it's actually probably going to be all right. Because then you also have leverage when it comes to claims. So that could work well. But if we think of the niche we're in, which is the super yacht world, if you do that and you give your 100-meter yacht to the broker that insures your insurance broker that insures your business, it might not be the best solution, because they will not have the same leverage that a super yacht insurance broker that does that day in, day out has with insurers. It might not have access to those insurers. It might not know the market as well. It might not know the type of boat that actually certain insurers we work with, might not know that certain markets are viable. And the most important thing that we do is when it comes to claims.
Of course.
Have they got a claims team internally within the insurance broker to deal with the claim when something goes wrong? Because that's what we're selling. You know, we're selling customer service. We're selling that assistance when it comes to claim, to make sure that your claims is properly looked after and make sure that the insurance company pays in the end.
Because there's a lot of nuances with yachting where you can say, well, this was the situation. You guys all know, well, the important aspects of that. That's what the potential situation is, and really understand, you know, what really went wrong what are you
absolutely
actually
right.
insured for, etc.
Exactly. What
Yeah.
do you know? We place several insurance policies for our client for
Yeah.
one boat.
Yeah.
Which policy do I trigger? I mean,
Right.
it might seem obvious. Obviously, any professional in the insurance industry would say, "Well, Hugo, that's obvious. We trigger that one, this one." But sometimes, you know, actually we can use this policy, but if that fails, we always have the backup of maybe this policy.
Right,
And
okay, yeah.
that's always that's something that only an experienced insurance
Exactly. It's
broker
where
that deals with
expertise.
Superyachts will
Yeah.
know.
The expertise is
Expertise,
that's going to be the
experience,
value.
you can
That's
call
huge.
it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can call it
Yeah.
many things: expertise, experience, knowledge, industry knowledge,
Yeah.
and etc. So, yeah.
And so once you've insured a vessel or insured a build, do you actually go to the shipyards or see it in the yard or visit when it's out in operation or in marinas, etc.?
I think as far as we are concerned, when boats or yachts, especially, are in the shipyard for a long refit project, that's usually a good time for us to visit, because
Okay.
if the boat's trading, if the owners are using the vessel, or if there's charters that are happening, it's the wrong time to come and visit your client,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
or to come and visit the boat or the captain.
Yeah.
When you know, we will not impose, and will never impose our presence to a client or to a captain. We'll say if they want to see us. Usually we know that refit period, whilst they are very busy, or new build phases, whilst time at the yard is very busy, there are also some times where they've got some availability, and it's a good way for us to see the operation, to discuss with everybody.
Yeah.
In a you know, the boat's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Quickly, anyway. So you know, it's always a good time to go and visit during
Yeah.
refits or during new build phases.
And what kind of things will you be looking at in those kind of inspections? Is it the equipment on board? Is it the processes that are being used and taking place? What are the key bits?
So in terms of inspection of the vessel, that would really be done by a surveyor, an insurance
Okay.
surveyor.
Right.
We can't substitute ourselves to the insurance surveyor, because what's important to know is that we're here to make sure that the insurance policies that are in place are covering the true risk. So one thing I will always discuss with captains is to, when I go at the shipyard, I say, okay, how many crew do you have? Have all the crew been declared to us for medical insurance?
Yeah.
Do you have, what's the plan for the next 12 months? Do we have the latest itinerary of the vessel to make sure that you are in your covered navigational areas?
Yeah.
Do you have any other shipyard visit planned? How long are you staying? Are you still leaving next month, or actually are you leaving in 6 months? Because all those things matters, and we use, without being invasive in the owner's life, in the captain's job, we're just trying to gather the information that we need to present to insurers, and to make sure that insurers are updated with the information that they will need, and to make sure that the policies are still adapted to the yacht and to the owner's need.
Yeah. I want to ask about cybersecurity, cyber risk.
Yes.
It keeps on coming up. There's plenty of businesses, all sectors, all around the world. It's risk, right?
Yeah.
And so what kind of aspects of cybersecurity are really important from an insurer's point of view for large yachts?
So you have to view, when it comes to cybersecurity, you have to view the industry as a whole. You can't exactly look at the yacht and say, oh, I'm going to cover the yacht for cyber risks, and then forget about it, then the rest is done.
Right.
The reason for that is because we are all interconnected. So truly with technology, we are.
Yeah.
So we communicate so a boat will communicate with a shipyard, will communicate with a yacht manager, will communicate with our insurance brokers, they will communicate with all the contractors that are coming on board.
Yeah.
So as an industry, the entire industry needs to be appropriately insured for cyber risks. So the boats need to be insured without a doubt. But also, what is a risk to the vessel when it comes to cybersecurity? Well, it's the people that they exchange by email with all the time.
Yeah.
So it's us, it's the management, it's the owner's office, it's a family office.
Yeah, it's kind of the network around them. It's not just them, it's everybody.
So what we've been advocating for is to make sure that businesses in yachting are covered for cyber risk insurance. The reason for that is that there is too many business that could be taken down with a bad management of their IT system, which would mean that, or not enough protection in their IT system, or simply hackers that are stronger than any system put in place.
Yeah.
So you just have to protect yourself. You can't have a zero risk when it comes to cyber risk. So what you have to manage your cyber risk with IT companies. So that's certainly not us. So you have to manage your own risk to your means. A small company will have different means than a bigger one.
Yeah.
And then you have to seek insurance. And that's where a mistake is often being made. So, oh, but I'm a small operation. I don't need cyber risks.
Right.
But
Okay.
in fact, that's when you need it, because that policy will respond the same whether and the hackers are going to come to you the same if you're big or small. So
Yeah.
what we're pushing
And,
is that,
and a small operation in the large yacht industry is actually the management of quite a large asset.
yeah,
It's running a a
Absolutely.
£10 million boat, a £50 million boat, etc.
Yeah.
And
So
so
it's-
actually, transaction values, the incentive for
yeah,
cyber threats,
yeah.
it's there, and so you need protection against it. It's
Well,
that simple.
you may, if you look at a company with a 100K, 200K turnover,
Yeah,
dealing or working with a several million euros asset,
yeah,
they are exposing that asset. Their insurance is certainly, it may be inexistent or may be very low and may not cover cyber insurance. And then if somehow something happened that ended up costing million,
Yeah.
that business is taken down in an
Yeah.
instant.
yeah.
And that's very important to think about this. Sorry
Yeah.
to be all doom
And,
and gloomy, but
yeah, but only increasingly. So I mean, it's going to become more and more important.
It will.
The technology on board,
Yeah.
whilst it has great value for
Absolutely.
navigation, for experience, and all that kind of thing, it comes with risk, and so insurers are going to be
That's right.
increasingly concerned about it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, and what's the future for Fort Insurance? What are you guys really seeing a lot of strength in? Which areas, and where are you heading?
Well, what we've always wanted to do is to continue to cater for the superyacht industry. So continue to service superyacht and superyacht owners and managers and representatives, to the best of our ability. We've built a strong team of 7 people now in our Antibes office, which is our headquarters. We have development ongoing in other countries, and our strategy is of expansion is simply to go where our customers are.
Yeah.
We want to, the customers that trust us throughout the world. We want to be there, close to them if we can. And that's certainly our plan for the next, the next 3 years is going to be continuing to develop the Fort Insurance network, continue to develop our staff, so they continue to grow our book of superyacht business, and yes, it's continue to maintaining. For me, it's been very important to continue to maintain that level of customer service we have.
Yeah.
We definitely see customer service as our first mission.
Yeah, it's that relationship. I think this is so important in
Exactly.
insurance. I see quite a few of the insurance really trying to do as much of it as they can. Just have that personal relationship and the constant support, because the day that things go wrong
Yeah.
is the day you really need that relationship.
That's
and so it
absolutely
wins
right.
business, it works.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. We need
Yeah.
to be there because ultimately you never want to submit a claim under your insurance policy, because that's it can mean that something has happened.
Yeah, yeah.
But when that happens, we need to be there. We need to respect to make sure that their expectations are met, and that we're here to help.
Yeah. And to win that trust, have the relationship, be there, be local. Yeah.
And then if we do
Yeah.
a good job, we continue to ensure that clients with their current boat, with their next boat, and may it last as long as possible. If they're happy with our service, that's a relationship that should continue. We take a huge amount of satisfaction as insurance brokers to get a thank you from our client that just said thank you for delivering, thank you for helping, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's to me that's the biggest payment we could receive from a client. It means that the recipe works. It means the customer service has worked, and it means that we should continue what we've been
What
we've set out to do, and what we do best.
Yeah. Hugo, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Everybody, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you're following here to see plenty more of it. All being well, we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.